Hi, it's Chloe. I'm gonna have to be really brave today. When I started this channel, my intention was to raise awareness of chronic illness and disability, and like day to day, what that's like. And when I told my husband about what I wanted to do, he was supportive, because he always is, because he's wonderful and I'm very, very blessed. But he did say to me, you know, it's all very well kind of, I suppose, recording the good days and the days when you're feeling really on top of it. But are you going to be able to sit on camera when you've had a bad day and be honest about that? And I said to him that I really hoped that I would. And today is the challenge because it's been a really hard day today. And I'm not sure if I'm being brave or stupid by doing this. I hope I'm being brave. I hope I'm not being stupid, but we'll see. So what happened this morning, just to kind of start the day off, I woke up at 10 to 4 a.m. and I sneezed, or I think I kind of actually woke up sneezing, which I didn't know was possible, but apparently you can. And because women who suffer with hypermobility syndrome have, I suppose, more relaxed ligaments and things around a certain time of the month, you become more vulnerable to semi-dislocations and dislocations. So what happened was I woke up at 10 to 4, I sneezed, and I fully dislocated my right hip, and it didn't go back in perhaps as easily as it normally would. Normally what happens, I get several dislocations a day. I average between 8 and 11 clicks, pops, locks, that kind of thing. There's loads of terminology that people use for their dislocations to make them sound less graphic. But I don't want to scoot around what happened. And what happened was I sneezed and I dislocated my hip. And normally it comes out and it goes straight back in again. Makes a cracking sound. Yeah, kind of like bone tingly sound. It really freaks people out, it freaks me out. But it came out and it locked, and it took longer than usual to get back in. And I'm not talking about like 20 minutes. It was 1 or 2, maybe 3 minutes. I don't even think it was as long as 3 minutes, to be honest. Obviously, I'm aware that it felt a lot longer than it was. My husband was asleep next to me and I didn't want to wake him up, and I just had to rotate my leg, my thigh I suppose, until I managed to get it back in. The thing that we experience once a month as women then arrived at 7 o'clock in the morning. And for me, I know that that is a really horrendous couple of days. So I kind of I know what I'm in for. And what happens is it slowly gets worse throughout the day, and that builds up for like 2 or 3 days. And it is definitely the hardest time of the month for me. And my pain is on a 10. You know, give me childbirth any day of the week. It's just been a really hard day. You know, it really has. The pain has been huge. I've been feeling a bit low because of that, I suppose. I really am, and I would hope people that know me think that I'm a kind of really quite positive person, and I'm a, you know, glass half full kind of person. And I generally try to shelter people from the bad days, which is why I think this is actually so important, because I think a lot of people who have chronic illness really do try to shelter their friends and family from the really bad days. But you know, my saving grace was that it was my daughter's Christmas fair after school today, and I've been really looking forward to it for weeks. My daughter started school in September, and this is just something that I have really fond memories of from my childhood, and I was really excited and really looking forward to sharing it with her. And we got there, and I mean we planned. There's always has to be an element of planning. But I also think I kind of almost forget that I'm disabled sometimes, which is ridiculous because I can't walk without crutches. And I mean, I did plan it in the sense of I have a very large mobility scooter that I use when I go shopping, and I have a very small one that we use when we go out for the day, because the seat comes off and it folds down and it can go in the car, and it's probably about half the size of my big one. So I suppose expecting that it was going to be busy, I decided to go on the little one. So there was that element of preparation. What I wasn't expecting was that there was literally hundreds of people there and you couldn't move. It was really daunting because I'm almost at like child's height. I'm seeing everything from people's waists and their bums. So when you're in a really if you're in a really big crowd and you're in that position and you're used to being 5'11" and towering over everybody, it's quite intimidating, and people have very little patience for mobility scooters. I think they see the scooter and they don't necessarily see the person sitting on it. So I literally went in and then spent the next 5-10 minutes trying to get out again. There was just no way that I was going to go round it. I eventually got help from one of the teachers and they put me out the front reception that had been shut. But then I was faced with the massive disappointment of that after what had already been quite a hard day. And I suppose it's just sitting really heavily on my heart, and I'm struggling to let it go and move beyond it. I'm sure I will. There's an opportunity for change there. I have full faith in my daughter's school. I think if I approached them and said, you know, maybe we could look at disabled access for these events, they would do it in a heartbeat and be very gracious about it. I really do. I have full respect for her school, and that's not an issue at all. It's just another thing that should have been easy and was easy for everybody else there, and for me was impossible, and that really sucks. It's really hard, and it makes for a really hard day, and I don't want to cry on camera. But yeah, there is a side of my disability and my chronic illness that I don't share, because this happens and it's really difficult and it makes you feel very vulnerable. But similarly, I think it's really important that people become aware of it, because there is a real social taboo still around disability and chronic illness. And I think it's because people are afraid to talk about it and to address it, and that's fine. That is absolutely, it's understandable, but that needs to change, I personally think it needs to change. Yeah, so there we are. It's just been a really tough day. I think what happened with my hip at 4 o'clock this morning has made me, or suppose reaffirmed to me, how vulnerable my body is. You shouldn't sneeze and dislocate your hip in the same way that you shouldn't, the other week I passed my nephew I didn't even know I was holding him at the time, and I just turned and my rib dislocated. So I had to really quickly put him on to the woman next to me, and I had to pop that one back in. And it just makes you feel really vulnerable in your body. And I think that for people to learn empathy and realise the full extent of some chronic illnesses, they need to be aware of them, and because we try to muddle through and hide them, you don't necessarily get that exposure. So I suppose that's what this is, really. Yeah, there we are. Hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. I doubt it will at the minute, because I know what I'm in for tonight, because I know that my stomach will get worse and worse and worse for the next couple of days. But, it could still be a good day tomorrow, regardless of that, maybe. We'll see. I don't know, we'll see. It's a complicated little life sometimes. Yeah, it is a complicated little life. Okay, this is flashing up with me that I've got a minute left. So I'm going to say God bless, good night, and and I shall see you all tomorrow, and hopefully I will have better, happier news. Glad tidings. Alright, please subscribe. I know this isn't a great video, it's a bit of a downer. Please subscribe, please give me a thumbs up if you can, I don't know, put yourself in my shoes, I suppose. Okay, I've got a minute left, it's counting down on me, it's flashing. Ah, no! That's really funny. It's like, stop talking, woman! You're gonna run out of tape. Shut up. That's really funny. Sorry. Right, God bless. Good night. Subscribe. Check out my other videos. They're much happier than this one. Bye.